My father built a small cabin about 3 miles off of the main highway. This cabin was covered with Mascadine vines. The Mascadine is a very small, bittersweet grape. I've always thought that it represented the bittersweetness of my life. I was born in a very segregated farming community of about 3,000 people. We didn't eat together, work together, or worship together. My mother was a very dark-skinned black woman, and my father was of Irish descent. They met at a time when blacks and whites did not form relationships outside of employment. The two of them fell in love, and out of their love for one another, I was conceived. The community was already alarmed by my birth. Certain people that were involved in the Klan wanted to have me killed, and my father knew he had to act quickly. He reached out to his sister, who was also half white, and asked her if she would consider raising me. She was already 70-plus years old. I was the ninth set of children that she raised, and most of us she raised from birth. Mama Abby was a very short, robust woman. She was short in stature, but very, very strong in personality. She loved very deeply. She cared for everyone, and she turned no one away. Over the course of about 9 years, my dad fathered 3 other girls, the twins and my baby sister. I don't know why he decided to do that. I don't think it was love, I think it was lust. But his decisions were always selfish in my mind. When they were barely 5 years old, they were adopted out, and we would get an opportunity to see each other maybe once or twice a year. He never thought about how that made us feel. It was always about how he felt. He got to see all of us every weekend, even them. We had specific times. Even my baby sister, he got to see her all the time because she was raised by my birth mother. For most of my childhood, I felt like I was second place in my dad's life. I never felt like I was as important as I should have been. And for me, a dad was someone that was always there. If you didn't sleep in the same house with me, if you didn't take me shopping for school clothes, if you didn't want to teach me how to drive, if you didn't do all of those things, I didn't really know how to call you Dad. And sometimes he would have me sitting in his lap for hours. And I would have my hands crossed, and I would sit there. Nope. If you were my dad, we'd be living in the same house together, so I can't do that. Mama Abby always tried to make up for that, and oftentimes she would fill that role as my mother and my father. But she always reminded me that I had another dad that was even more important in my life. The times when my dad made me feel like he didn't care or didn't have time for me, I learned to focus in on God, and he became more of a father. When I was about 11 years old, we had a serious conversation because I had an aunt who was dying of cancer. When we realized that she was not going to be okay, I wanted to know where she was going. At that point, I don't even think Mama Abby realized that I wasn't saved yet, and that led her into asking me where I wanted to go. I told her, I said, I don't want to be anywhere that you're not. And she kneeled down, and I kneeled down beside her. And we said something very similar to the sinner's prayer, and I asked Christ into my life. The most thing that I'm thankful for is that at a time in her life when she should have been thinking about herself, she was 70 plus, and she still had time to take me in and keep me and love me like no other. I have a life that honors God. I have a family that honors God. I'm married to a man that she prayed into my life. Because of her, I'm okay. And I thank her so much for that.